Welcome to another episode of Kindness Magazine. I'm your host, Brenda Carey, and today I have two amazing guests, Raul Alonzo Evans and Kurt Evans, two amazing guys who I have been friends with for many years, and I used to be the co-host of a TV show in West Hollywood called We Host Sports with Raul, and Raul has carried on and has been doing this show for how many years now?
14
years. And Kurt is always there to support him and help him. Kurt is also his husband, and they have a wonderful long-term relationship that we're going to get into. And so I'm just so excited to have them on the show. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. It's
Thank
good to see you.
Great to see you.
And thanks for having us.
So first of all, Kurt, I didn't mean to not give you credit. What is your title for We Host Sports? Are you the director?
I'm the director.
And so you both are very Hollywood types. You're both directing and acting in and producing lots of shows. So tell me what you guys have been up to. I know We Host Sports has been doing a lot of exciting things, interviewing the Lakers, interviewing some really big names. I've seen some pretty big celebrities on your show. Do you want to brag about some of that?
Well,
You should brag about whoever sent you a kiss.
oh, Vivica Fox.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl, Vivica Fox, and you are watching We Host Sports. Hey, Kurt. There you go. Thank you.
Well, through the show, we've met a lot of people. At the beginning of the year, we were just hitting our stride. You know, the Lakers were having us. Tyler Perry was talking to us. Vivica Fox was talking to us. Then all of a sudden, things changed. And so now everybody's down and we're all trying to figure it out. So we're just trying to get it back on track and continue with the success that we were having, even though now it seems like it's a little different. So I'll let him expound upon
But
that.
last year was the best year. As you know, our show has been reporting about gay sports, which is there's over 220 gay different teams in Los Angeles. And we have been able to go and interview professional athletes through the years. And this past year was the best year we had yet. Our sports invited us to their seminar they had, and in there we interview a lot of the athletes they had come out, professional athletes, professional wrestlers, soccer players, track and meet different people. Then this year we were able to cover the LA Dodgers for Pride Night. You know, every team, professional team in LA now has a Pride Night, which then in turn give us a chance to go in and interview and ask the tough questions. Is like, what if there was a gay player in your team? You know, and some of them have played in Europe. So we asked them, you played in Europe and they're pretty open about having a gay teammate or whatever. What can we do to change that here? So yeah, we were very excited because we covered the LA Sparks, the Lakers, the Galaxy, the LAFC, and the Dodgers. We had interviews with the first two gay cheerleaders for the LA Rams.
Wow.
So we were like in a complete role, and you know, all it came to a halt, and then of course that came to a halt, and I also was sick, diagnosed with throat cancer. And luckily I'm over it now and getting better. Got my hair growing back and stuff.
So you've been through a lot this past few months.
So yeah, so we're trying to revamp now that we're at home, and since they're redoing our studio to a state-of-the-art studio, so they took the coronavirus and whatever we're going through right now to knock it down and to create our new studio. So meanwhile, we're trying to create our studio and still do our interviews and still do our thing, just like you're doing it through Zoom and through bringing people to our house and doing it in our director chairs and stuff. So we're trying to stay busy.
But the most amazing thing is that people were very respectful to us when we told them that we were a gay show, trying to show people that, you know, gay people are more about than just going to bars, that we have a wide variety of interests, that we have long-term relationships, you know, just trying to put a positive spin on things. Because I remember when I was young, I was told that gay relationships only last for like 6 months. And here I've been with someone for 25 years, you know, and people think that it's a perfect, I go, it's not a perfect relationship. We have the same problems that you have. And I think once people start seeing that we're just like you are, we just happen to be gay, you know. But I think that we're beginning to touch people, because when we go places, even when LeBron James talked to us, and we asked him about the gay question, he was so respectful and his answer was so beautiful. That amazes me, and it makes me feel good that now people can look and see, oh, okay, these guys are not so bad. You know, we're more than just you thinking we're looking at you. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of straight guys think that you're looking at them. I'm like, no, I have somebody. Why would I want to look at you? I'm here to do a job. That's my job, is to interview you, and so that you can even be elevated even more by showing the world that you're concerned about all of us, not just one sector in the community.
Right. That's why I was so proud to be a part of your show. We Host Sports. I felt like we were every week doing God's work, which is, like you say, letting people know that gay people are people too and deserve to be treated with respect, deserve to have the same human rights, the same civil rights as anyone else. And the discrimination that they have faced has been horrific. And if people are become aware of the way that gay people have been discriminated against and how horribly they've been treated, how much they've been bullied, how they have lost their jobs and their positions in athletic positions just because of their sexual orientation, because of who they love. And like you say, Kurt, this idea that so many old-fashioned conservative people have about gay people not having long-term, beautiful, loving relationships is just so ridiculous.
Right.
And so being a part of a show that was highlighting that and talking about these issues really, you know, made me feel proud, even though I'm straight. You know,
Award-winning show.
Yes, yes, I'm very
We
proud.
were an award-winning show in 2011.
Yes, yes.
Your name and Brian's name is in there. So thank you for making that possible.
Well, we had a lot of fun doing the show with you guys. And, you know, like I said, very proud to say that I've been a part of that, and really proud to have you guys as guests today so we can kind of carry on that good work. And I would love for you guys to talk a little bit more about your backgrounds. And, you know, Kurt, you touched on a little bit that, you know, you had preconceived notions, or you had heard people saying things in your past about gay people having short relationships. Tell us about your upbringing. I know you come from a religious family, right?
Right. My dad, my mother married twice. So she married 2 ministers. So I got the religion really down pat. But the only thing about that is they teach some stuff that I just never agreed with. And I told my parents that at a young age, that I just didn't understand, you know, the choice between heaven or hell. I used to always say to my mom, that's really not a choice. I mean, who wants to burn? That makes no sense to me. And they used to look at me like, what is this wrong with this guy? But I remember before my mom passed away, because she passed away from cancer, we talked about it. And she said that she felt that was the only thing she never understood, because she saw me as a little boy and she sort of knew the direction I was going in. And she just didn't want to see people mistreat me. And I told her, but you don't have to worry about that, because I know how to stand up for myself. And I remember when I was in nursing school, they wanted me to look a certain way and they wanted me to cut my hair. And I remember saying to the nursing instructors at the time, you know, people like me get sick too. So they need care just as well as I do, you know, so I don't understand what you're talking about. Okay, if you want me to cut my hair, I'll cut my hair, if that's such a big deal. And I remember being in psychology class and I wrote a paper about being gay, and that I was going to walk into this world. I was going to walk with my head up and walk like I belong here, because I felt like I belong here too. I have a right to be respected just like you are. If I walk into a room and say hello to you and look at you in a respectful way, why can't you do the same with me, regardless of what I am? Even if I was a drag queen and walked in with a dress, what business is that of yours? What matters is the soul and the heart. And I don't think God is caring about how people look. I think he cares about what's inside. So I've always walked this earth confident, believing in myself, spreading love, being kind to whoever I came across. And hopefully, if you're respectful to me, I'll be respectful to you. Or I'll just walk away and just say, okay, if you choose to be that way, that's your choice. But this is how I'm going to lead my life. So
Right.
that's how I walk upon this earth.
On that subject, I can't resist but talk about your awesome fashion sense and how that was influenced by having ministers in your family, because you do have, I mean, I grew up in Mississippi, and you do have that beautiful Southern gentleman minister look about you and the way that you dress. And, you know, you always have so much dignity and so much class with the way that you carry yourself. And I know that, like you say, comes from a place of wanting to show the world that you are worthy of respect. And so, how do you think that your fashion sense works in with your the statements that you're trying to make to the world and the way that you're trying to get the world to open their minds?
Well, first of all, I got it from my mom. My mom was a superb dresser. My mom used to have clothes that she never even worn. She used to have the tags on them. But my grandfather, I never forget when I was young, he said, son, if you wear a tie, you get a lot of respect. Just put a tie on. If you want to dress some other way when you're not in a business situation, that's okay. And I follow that even through high school. Most people will tell you, even when I was in high school, that I was always the guy who was always in a suit or something fashionable. Even I remember in those days, you used to pick up the absentees from the class. So the teachers would say they couldn't start their class till I picked up the absentee, because the kids I would walk in the room and they would erupt in applause by what I had on. So it's a
That's
sense that I've always had, I think I got from my mother. But I just carried it on because it makes me feel good. It makes me happy. And I think it makes other people happy when they see you coming, you know, and then you're smiling and you're being nice and respectful. So I think that's where I get it from. I try not to be too, what's the word I'm looking for? Trends. I just try to do what's best, I think looks good on me.
Mhm.
You know, if I see something, I go, I like that, let me try that.
Mhm.
So I've just followed that path through my life, no matter where I go. Of course, my friends don't particularly care for it because I'm always the one that's sitting there looking like a movie star.
Does
That's
it,
why I can't compete with them.
well, you have your own exciting background, Raul. You have your background that I would love for you to share with our audience about being an amazing athlete and how that led you to where you are now, wanting to continue with talking about sports.
Well, you're right. I was really good at soccer, and at a very young age, I became a professional soccer player. I played for 3 years in Mexico, and then my dad got sick, and I had to make a choice whether I wanted to continue doing sports or come and be with the family, and I chose family. And ever since then, I still play soccer. Well, not anymore right now because having WeHo Sports takes a lot of time, as you know, editing, putting things together, and doing a lot of research and all of this other stuff. So I haven't been able to play, but they still want me to play. You know, I try to take care of my bones now because I'm not a youngster anymore, but that led me to put this show on and to tell people, you know, because growing up, I knew I was different with my family. And my family is a Gargancho's family. And of course, they all wanted me to be married to a female. So I ended up being married to a female and then realized that that's not who I was. And when I came out, my family couldn't believe it because I had been married 12 years to her. And then I met this wonderful man here, and we've been together 25 years. But all of that led me to start looking and seeing how young LGBTQ athletes kill themselves because they don't understand that there's a place that they can go and be part of something. and they can travel the world and all of that stuff. I mean, playing with gay soccer team, it opened so many doors for us. We got to travel the whole world. We got to go to Australia, Amsterdam, New York, Atlanta, Florida. We were all over the place with it. So, you know, it gave us a different sense of belonging to something. And so
tell us about the gay sports. I think that most straight people don't know that this exists, that there are gay sports teams and there's even a gay Olympics.
yeah,
So
well,
why did that come into being?
they call it the Gay Games because the Olympics name was already taken by somebody else. And at one time, the Olympics tried to sue the Gay Games. But every 4 years, you have a Gay Games, which you got teams from all over the world. And you get to see, when we were in Australia, a full stadium with LGBTQ athletes, you know, and we're not just talking about any athletes. You got professional athletes, you got college athletes, you got, as long as you're over 18, you can join any team, and we don't discriminate. We're open to having a straight alliance play with us, but yeah, there's in LA, there's over 220 teams. You know, you find leagues of basketball, volleyball, swimming, tennis, soccer, and there's a lot of, if there's a sport, there's a gay team for that sport somewhere in LA.
Right.
So you can imagine how many thousands of gay teams are around the globe, and through the year we have different tournaments. So like with soccer, you have a gay tournament in Mexico, then you got a gay tournament in Argentina, and you got gay tournament here, and then you also got things going on Vegas now. It's becoming big every year for Martin Luther King Day. So last year they had like over 2,000 athletes.
Right. And one of the reasons they started it, I believe, is because gay guys felt they weren't included with the straight team. So they felt they would feel more comfortable if they had their own teams where they can let their hair down and be themselves, not be so constrained like Raul was, trying to hide who he was. You know, it made him a better player when he could be around people he felt comfortable with, that he could make a joke about something, no one take it the wrong way. So I think that's one of the reasons it started, because I think they felt excluded from all the other teams that were going on, the straight teams, because they felt like, I don't know, I guess they had a view that gay guys were just so feminine that they weren't masculine enough to play, you know, sports. But gay is not about a masculine and feminine thing. They're all different types of gay people. Like there are different types of people in the world, which is one of the frustrations I think gay guys have, that people have a perception of us that we're just one way. You know, we come in, it's like a bouquet of flowers. We're all different types of ways. We're not just one way. And I think people get stuck on that. And it's so frustrating when you hear people say things like, you know, oh, don't run like a sissy. What does a sissy run like? You know what I mean? And they keep wanting to put us on the feminine side. There are very many masculine guys out there that you probably could never even tell were gay.
But it gave me a sense of to be able to be who I really was. So whenever we got to the field, you know, we would hug and kiss each other, the other athletes, and of course the straight teams would start saying, oh, you know, go mark your girlfriend and things like that. But then once we kicked their ass, they didn't have nothing else to say. So, you know, they just, and little by little, I think the league has created a respect for us because we won the league so many times that they didn't have no other choice but to respect it. We're no longer seen as gay athletes, but as an athlete. And eventually that's what I'm trying to do on the show. I'm trying to promote that to every single LGBTQ athlete out there, you know, that they could be themselves and they could find a place where they can relax and have a second family, because a lot of us don't have a family that we can go to. So having those teams, they become our family.
Right. There's a lot of families that can't accept their children being homosexual and disown them. And that's why, like you mentioned, suicide is so high among the LGBTQ community. And that is exactly why we need to engage in such activism to bring equality and bring respect and fairness. It's you can't live in a world where you're treated like that all the time,
And
you
it's
know.
such a sad thing. I thought that when I grew up that it would be no more. And to see it continue, just, it really breaks my heart.
And you live in
It,
West Hollywood.
I know, but it breaks my heart when I see kids say things like, I'm like, but you belong here. Don't
Mhm.
let anyone ever tell you you don't belong here. You belong here. You have a right. If you want to walk down the street in a miniskirt, that's your business. And
Mhm.
those people don't care because they have small lives and they don't understand. You know, I don't think God wanted us to come down here and divide and fight each other over things that mean nothing. That means nothing what another person is doing. What matters is their heart and how they conduct themselves. I want people to look at Raul and I and figure out, oh, what a beautiful thing I see. You know,
Mhm.
these guys just going about their business. They're not bothering anybody, but don't say the wrong thing to us, because I'm going to say the wrong thing to you. And then I'm going to walk away in love and pray for you that you get it. Because just like you may have a kid one day who may possibly be like me, it
Mhm.
always amazes me when people say things and they have their kids and their kids end up being gay and they're looking crazy like, well, how did that happen? What do you mean, how did that happen? That's a part of you.
Right.
They can accept an animal having sex with the same sex, but they can't accept us. Okay, I
Right.
don't want to get started.
Or maybe they're ignorant about the fact that it does happen amongst all species and they think,
Right. But you think they would look at that and see that, but they don't. And that's the thing that I think frustrates me as I continue with life. I'm like, when are we going to get it? But then I'm reminded from the religion I come from that none of us are perfect, you
Mhm.
know, and that we're all we're striving to get it right, to make a world where we all can live peacefully in, you know, and go about our business and live our lives in a happy way, because life is full of challenges anyway.
Mhm.
And then when you put all this other stuff on top of it, it becomes more difficult. But I refuse to allow my life, his life, to be difficult. I'm going to continue to live just the way I want to and walk around this earth like I belong here.
But I love it with all this protest that's been going on, that they brought things to light too, because a lot of the LGBTQ community got together with Black Lives Matter, and they march in a daily basis through all the streets of West Hollywood, Santa Monica, downtown LA, uh, and Hollywood too. I mean, they march everywhere together. So I think you start seeing a little bit more about acceptance now.
Mhm.
And I love it. I love it that these young kids are coming out and saying, this is who we are. And whether you like it or not,
Right.
we're
No,
going to.
I agree. I think it's really beautiful how it's all coming together. And one reason why I wanted to change the name of this magazine to Kindness Magazine to be broader and more inclusive was because I do see that the issue really is that we need greater kindness in the world. The issue
Mhm.
is that we need greater justice in the world. We need less oppression. And so whether that affects you as, you know, for your gender, whether it affects you for your sexual orientation, whether it affects you for the color of your skin, your religion, whatever it is that you're being discriminated about, we need to understand that it is discrimination that we are against. All discrimination, all oppression of all people. And yes, Black Lives Matter, and I definitely use that term, and I do see the importance of shining the light on certain things at certain times, just like the Me Too movement was a very important time for women. This has been a very important time for Black people to talk about what goes on with them. And we were just talking a little bit about that before we started rolling. And I was asking you guys to share with me experiences that you've had where you've been dealt with racist treatment. And I think it's really important that we talk about this because being white, so many of us who are white don't realize what people of color go through on a freaking daily basis. The kind of discrimination and hatred that you are dealt with by, it's not, we're not saying that most people are racist or most white people are racist, but all it takes is a couple jerks in your day when you are, out and about doing your business, going to the grocery store, whatever, to just, basically ruin your life if it happens every single day, or if every time you have to encounter a police officer, you keep getting dealt with this sort of thing. So would you like to share a couple of those stories with our audience now?
But one of the first ones I have is when I worked as a nurse, and I worked in Beverly Hills on Los Angeles and Wilshire. And the office that I work in was a glass office. So you could see me sitting in there. So one evening, the police came in and they said that the people at Red Lobster, which was across the street from where I worked, said I broke into the building. And I thought, well, officer, my name is right there. There's my picture. I have a suit on. Does that make sense? And I'm sitting there doing payroll. It was so funny. I said, but my head is down. And he accused me of being smart. I go, officer, I'm not trying to be smart, but does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. That I would break in with all these lights on, the building's glass, you can see me sitting at the desk. Does that make any sense to you? Or one time I'm in the car with Raul and we're coming from one of his soccer practices. I picked him up after I got off from work and the police pulled us over. Raul is now in the driver's seat driving, but they come on my side of the car and ask me all the questions. So I said to them, he has his shirt off. I'm sitting here in a suit and you're asking me all the questions. But you're being smart. I'm not being smart, officer. I'm not driving. He's driving. Mm-hmm. So then he starts, carrying on. Instances like that really just, for years, I just didn't say anything. I just, just say, oh, well, let me keep moving.
Or when we left the house and the police was next block and we could see him. And they immediately pulled us over and we were going to the studio and we both have a suit on. But they pulled him out of the car and they tell them if he was a pimp.
And put me in handcuffs. I forgot the part they put me in handcuffs.
What?
Just to ask questions while all our neighbors are looking at us. And we had just moved in this neighborhood.
Oh, no.
But I knew they were going to pull us over because I saw them down the street. And I thought to myself, they're going to follow us. Mm. And then a lot of times when people, if I have my stethoscope with me, I'll hang it over the rearview mirror. Because that's somehow, I don't know, I guess it's a symbol that I might be somebody who is not just your regular guy. And they'll see the stethoscope and say, are you a doctor? I go, no, I'm a nurse. Mm-hmm. And they'll sort of back off. Mm-hmm. Or if they start hearing me having a conversation with them, and they ask me, have I been to prison before? I go, no, I've never been to prison in my entire life. And then I just sit there and I go, well, okay, officer. And I just get home and just don't think about it. Mm-hmm. And I just continue with my life.
Or in West Hollywood, we were taking our acting coach back home.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And we had just pulled up to his driveway, and now he was about 80 years then.
John Angelo.
So he needed some help getting down and going into the house. And as we helping him get out of the car, police pulls over and tell us that our car looked like some car they were looking for.
And poor John Angelo, the 80-year-old man, is standing there going, wait.
Because he white.
He was so scared. He had never, I don't think he ever experienced anything like that. 2 police cars in West Hollywood. And I've always said lately, I think West Hollywood has a problem too, because I think that for some reason in my mind, I thought that because someone was gay that they weren't prejudiced. I don't know why I thought that, but they are. And we experience a lot when we go to the bars in West Hollywood. We have to show 3 and 4 IDs. Or they'll ask me, they just asked me for my ID recently. I thought to myself, do I look that young to you? I'm not going to say my age, but I'm all of you, whatever.
You do look beautiful.
I know, but they never ask him, but they'll always ask me. And I always have to show it. And I just don't understand it.
That's because they like my beautiful face.
The story you told me about, you were out walking your chihuahuas and the police stopped you and asked you if you stole the dogs.
Exactly, because they said that what did they say I look like? I looked like I was too, I don't know if the word is rough, to have a little dog. I guess because the dogs look feminine. I don't know.
You
It
do
was
not
such
like
look
a
a
rough.
gangster.
I guess maybe that's what he said. I look too gangster to have a cocker. I had a cocker at the time.
What kind of gang is he talking about? You look like a Southern Baptist minister. Do they have gangs?
Usually when I walk with a baseball cap, and I usually do have on baggy clothes.
Yeah, that's still.
But still, I don't understand that. But I think once you get up on me, you can look at me and say, "Oh, I don't think so."
Yeah, I don't think so. There's nothing rough about you. You are definitely a stylish and
Which is a funny thing because I
gentleman.
said to Raw. Raw said to me one day, "Oh, I think that shirt makes you look gay." I go, "Honey, stop." And then about 2 days later, about a couple of hours later, we go to Disney World, and Six Flags, and they stop and said, "I look like a gangbanger." So I said to the officer, "I wish everybody would make up their mind. Do I look gay or do I look like a gangbanger?" So they all started laughing. And I thought, this is crazy.
Oh,
I never wear that clothes again.
So I never wear that shirt again, by the way.
so, I mean, being judged everywhere you go by how you dress. I mean, enough. That's okay. So let's talk about something a little sweeter. I love the story of how you two got together, and Raul, you were diagnosed with HIV, and Kurt was your nurse. Is that what happened?
Well, I met him in a club.
Okay.
A friend of mine had taken me to a club, and we talked, and we exchanged numbers, and he wasn't giving me time of day. So it went on like that for like a year. And then all of a sudden I got real sick. And it just happened that there's a helicopter going about us.
That's okay. I can barely hear it. Go on.
So the agency sent home care, and the agency they sent was Kurt. So then Kurt came in to do an intake, and he realized it was me.
It was meant to be.
And we've been together ever since.
Wow.
We started dating after that, and he never left.
That's really sweet. And so you have been there for Raul through some really tough times using your nursing skills, haven't you?
Oh, and I just want to tell everybody that he's HIV negative as well. So we've been practicing safe sex all the time for 25 years, and he's not on PrEP. I don't think he needs to be on PrEP because we have been taking care of ourselves all these years. I don't want him to start taking medications if he don't need to take medications.
Well, the interesting thing for me is when I moved out here, one of my things were I wanted to find a relationship. More than anything, I wanted to be in the entertainment industry. But the second thing was I also want to find love. And I want to find the love of another man because I knew, like my brother's the type of person who has a lot of love to give, and he's a good man. And I think I'm the same way. I just so happen to be gay. And I wanted to give a gay man that love, that unconditional love, be there for whatever, through the challenges, through the bad times, through the good times. And I found the perfect person, I thought, well, he's the perfect person for me. I care about people. I'm a nurse. I know how to take care of people. He was a professional clown at some point in his life, and then plus he was a soccer player. So it all started to make sense to me. And then I could see the door opening, that I really felt that God had opened the door for me and said, now you can walk through, and now you can be whatever you want. You want to be an actor, now you can do that. It took a long process, but we got there. I remember when he first brought me to the public access station, I knew then.
Well, but you should tell her how we end up in public television.
He started helping someone else at the station.
I was in a support group for people that were living with HIV. And somebody that had HIV had a TV show, and they needed a camera people. And they asked me if I wanted to go and help. And then I said, well, Kurt wants to be part of being an actor and all of that stuff. What better way than to go to a TV station and explore? So we went, and we started, after the show, we found out how to volunteer, and we started volunteer there, and we have never left that TV station. And that opened the doors to meet you guys and to meet such a long list of great different actors and
And celebrities
directors and producers and all of that stuff. And yeah, that's what got us into all of this. And after we were there volunteering one time, they needed a director, and I was there, and they asked me if I wanted to direct, and I direct, and people liked it, so I became a director after that. And now he's directing the show, and every time we go out, he's the lead.
That's great.
And the amazing thing is that most people, most celebrities, when they meet us, they assume that we've been around forever in this business. So they're so happy to see us and want us to be a part of whatever they're doing, which is so good because we always get such a positive response from everybody. I don't know if they're responding to the way that I look or the way that the camaraderie that the two of us have, but they always, we don't even have to ask for celebrities to come when we're on the red carpet. They automatically walk straight towards us and start talking. Who are you guys? Oh my God, you guys are so dressed up. Oh my God. And they just carry on. And it's such an amazing thing. But I know it's God. I know that it's him because I know I was supposed to be here. And I finally got here, and the door is open. My foot is in the door, and I'm just walking through like I've been here for years.
That's beautiful.
And it's exciting. It's very exciting. And I'm just so thankful to God. I really, really am. I'm so thankful that I met him. I'm so thankful for all the things that we've been through. I'm thankful that I continue to be the man that he wants me to be. And I hope that we will continue to be for the next 25 years.
And through my HIV as well, I've been able to travel the world. I was able to go to the White House and
talk to representatives.
I talked to representatives for funding for HIV for California. I've been able to be public speaking to try to save everybody, as many people as I can from catching HIV. So I've been doing that for over 20 years. So it keeps me busy through the year because a lot of high schools ask us to go, and even junior highs now, because with the phone and everything, it seems like junior high students are sexually active now. They always been, it's just that now it's more out there, I guess, and stuff. So it's been a fantastic ride for me so far.
That's great. And Raul, do you want to talk about, I know you just went through a little health challenge that you successfully overcame. You went through chemo.
Yeah, well, I was kind of shocked because apparently we all have those modules in our throat, but mine started at the base of the tongue, and then it traveled to one of the glands, and that's how it got discovered, because they gave me antibiotics for the gland and they went down. So then they decided to do a biopsy. And you've been through it because your mom passed away, and we're sorry for that. And hearing those words are the most petrifying words that you can hear.
Squamous cell carcinoma.
So I had a squamous cell carcinoma, but when they tell you that it had metastasized and has spread, and you go from, okay, you have a chance of recuperating at 98%, then it goes to 50%, and then it goes lower and lower. And you just, I can see why a lot of people end up dying and overcome by the illness, because it's so petrifying. We connect cancer with dying. Mm-hmm. And I told myself I refuse to give in to it. Mm-hmm. And I think part of being HIV positive helped me to deal with that as well, by going through the chemo and the radiations. And I've been blessed that I hardly had any side effects and stuff. I cut my hair because I was afraid of waking up one day and just having part of my hair being in the bed. So I decided to cut it before I even started chemo and radiation. And now my hair is growing back, and I have to go on the 20th to get a test just to make sure that everything is okay. But I feel fantastic, and I feel that I have I feel like a cat that I got
Nine
lives. So, but
I know having the supportive Kurt there with you through all of it really helps a lot too.
You know, I wanted to say something.
yes,
I wanted to say something to you because I remember when my mom was diagnosed, and just about 2 days before she passed, we had a conversation. And I remember saying to her, Mom, I just don't know if I even want to be here if you're not here. And I remember she looked me right in my face and she said, son, it's time for me to go. And I want you to live your life, live it beautifully. Make sure you stay in touch with your brothers and sisters because I know you're going to leave here the minute I'm gone. I just know. She even knew where I was going. She said, I know you're going to head straight for Los Angeles. She said, but it's time for me to go. And that made it so much easier for me. She said, please don't cry. Please don't get upset because this is how life goes. And one day you're going to go to it. And I want you to go with as much dignity as you see me going through. And that was it. I just wanted to tell you that because I know it's not easy because for years, I felt like I was walking in darkness.
Yes.
And I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I just came out here and just threw myself into work. But then I knew I could always hear her words saying, I want you to live your life because this is how life goes. We come and we go. So that's to you.
Yeah.
but
Thank you. That's a beautiful gift that she gave you.
Yeah.
It's too bad that my mom at the end, because of COVID-19, I wasn't able to be there for her for the last.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I had been there with her. She was in the hospital from March 6th until she died on March 30th. But I was not able to be there with her from the 20th on. But before that, I was there with her all day long, every day. I was bringing her awesome organic foods and juices and things and massaging her feet and talking to her, counseling her sort of in about her fears and that sort of thing. And so I really felt like I was doing a good thing by being there. So when they suddenly said no visitors at all, and I was trying to communicate with her by phone, and that she was not able to speak because she had fluid in her lungs and it was very hard for her to speak. I would just have them hold the phone up to her and I would just speak to her and I would just tell her that we love her and I'm communicating with the whole family and this is the messages from all these different people and how much they're praying for her and love her. And so we didn't get to have that kind of heartfelt talk at the end, but over the years and even the 2 months or so before she passed when she was living with me, we had some conversations because I'm really into near-death experience stories. And I like, listening to podcasts where people tell their stories and read books about them. And so I would tell her about the things that I had heard and read. And of course, she was also a woman of faith and believed in God and believed she was going to heaven. So, whenever I told her, well, I just heard this near-death experience story on this podcast and it was so beautiful. And they were describing this beautiful place in a garden and seeing loved ones and that sort of thing. I wasn't necessarily saying that to her to prepare her for death, although I kind of knew in the back of my head it was a possibility. I know she was comforted by those conversations and she, she would say, oh, that's wonderful. Tell me more. So, I do think that you after the passing happens, you do go back and remember conversations that were had and it does give you a lot of peace when there was that kind of an understanding of something beautiful that was happening and maybe it shouldn't be the way that we look at it. And I know Eastern countries, especially with Buddhism, they can handle death a lot better than we can. And in Hindu countries where they are thinking, well, reincarnation is passing into the next thing. Whereas, so often in this country, there's so much nihilism where it's like, well, what is it about? Why are we here? And you die and then that's it and you're gone. And it's so depressing. But I think if you have that kind of spiritual root and you can, call on that in those moments of tragedy or what we call tragedy, you can have a different perspective about it. And it's like I tell my sister all the time, I say, if she had suddenly gotten miraculously better and all of a sudden felt great and was going on an amazing vacation to Europe and she was going to be gone for a long time, I wouldn't be sitting here being sad. So why should I be sad thinking that you know, if everything that I've heard is true, near-death experiences and everything, you know, that is in spiritual texts like the Bible is true, she's gone on to a beautiful place where she has
Exactly.
no pain and suffering. That's the same as her having had a miraculous recovery and gone on a beautiful vacation. So,
Right. I had that conversation with my brother because I said to him, I just think that we need to teach kids that it's a part of life and that day is going to come, because you get so paralyzed with the sadness that
mhm,
it's just not a good thing. And I would hate to see any of my nieces or nephews go through that. I think that we need to start teaching our kids, like I said before, that it's a part of life and we got to figure out a way to handle it better. So whenever the anniversary of my mom's passing comes by, sometimes it works where I try to stay in a happy place, remember the happy things. I remember something that she made me so happy doing, like buying a Supreme album. I couldn't wait to wake up the next morning. The happiness that I felt every Christmas, that is the thought that I keep in my head. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and see my new Supreme album and I'm gonna be so happy. So I stay in that place. It's not always easy. There are some days I'm just paralyzed with hurt going, oh my God, I wish I could call my mom. But then
mhm.
I have to pull myself back and go, well, this is the life's journey and you're just going to stay in the happy moment. So I hope you stay there. And
Yeah. Well, I still talk to my mom, and I'm sure you
Mhm.
do too. I
Of
talk to her all
course,
the time.
I
I have
tell all the time, Rawls driving me crazy, mama. You didn't tell me about this.
But so
And I still remember
I do a lot of things with
was
that.
that vegan split pea soup I had at your Christmas dinner that time?
And the
Yeah,
enchiladas
yeah,
we
you guys
had at
came
your
over for Mexican dinner,
Yeah,
and
was that
uh-huh.
Christmas? That was
It
Christmas,
was
wasn't it?
it
Christmas.
was around Christmas time. Yeah,
Wasn't your mom there too?
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
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 she
she
was.
was.
Because we were
yeah,
at,
her
you see, it
house.
was her place, right?
Yeah, it was her house. Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
that's right. Yeah, so but then she went down to San Diego, and so we kept the house. But yeah, that was cool that you guys got to be there and meet her and stuff. And we've had a lot of good times, haven't we?
I know. And I always wanted to tell you and
Oh,
Brian,
mhm.
thank you so much for being so kind to Rawl. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of the show and
Aw,
bringing your beautiful views and everything that you bring. I
aw.
really appreciate it. And we want to tell you how much we love you.
And
Mm.
And we hope that you and Brian, have y'all been, I don't know, y'all not 25 years yet, have you?
No,
Or,
18.
oh, we hope, we pray that you make it to 25 and 50.
Yeah, I can't imagine life without him. So
Mhm.
let's talk about you guys have a movie that you've done with Sally Kirkland, some
yeah,
celebrities.
I was approached by a friend of mine, and first they asked me to direct the film, and then somehow I end up being the executive producer. And it's a minority women superhero film, and it's called Daughters of Legend. And I talked to Sally, and I said, Sally, you've done over 250 movies, but you have never done a superhero film.
Mm.
I said, the only way that I approach you with it is because I think you could be great at this. And then she told me her price, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. She's like, but I'm an Oscar nominated actress.
Oh my
Which is
God.
an amazing thing about Raw. Such a good thing how he can. It's so weird because I never gave him this credit. He can bring people together.
Mhm.
And when it came time to feed the crew, he went to a restaurant, got them to give free food. He found a man that would back the film. I was just amazed. I'm like, is this the same Raw that I'm married to? And I see all these people walking in. We ran into Brian Grazer, who is the executive producer of Empire, and he's laughing and talking with Rawl. They all fell in love with Rawl and his ability to want to work and to absorb all that he can about learning about directing. It's just been amazing. I'm like in awe of everything that is happening with us and the people that we're meeting and how they believe in us just on sight, just looking at us and wanting us to be around them and help us with anything that we may have. It's just been amazing, and I'm just feeling so blessed.
Yeah, but I feel so proud because I was able to save over $120,000 in the film by getting free food, free clothing, free
Wow.
places to shoot. I called some of the actors. They are with Oprah right now. Parnell DeMarco, he's
on Greenleaf.
He's on Greenleaf with Oprah. And he also had not been in a superhero film. And he was like, I would do it for free just to be in the film. And I was like, so.
And he was excited because it was his first movie poster, and Raul made that happen. He ran around the city getting movie posters made. It was just amazing to see everything unfold, because we were working so hard at the station thinking, this is going to work for us if we just stay at it, stay focused on everything that we're doing, make it our entire life, still love each other. And it's just been great.
And we get
and it won a Latino award too, Film Festival Award.
We won a couple of awards.
That's
so that is great.
A couple, I'm sorry.
we got an international award for Best Director, and we got Best Sci-Fi Film award, and it's making its rounds right now. So I feel so proud of it.
Well, I can't wait to see it. And once it's available in whatever format it ends up coming out in, please let me know, and I will pass that information on to our viewers so that they can see it too.
We would love to do that.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today and for sharing all of your wisdom and your life experience with us in our endeavor to make the world a kinder place. And I wish you both the best in everything you do, and we will keep in touch for sure.
No, well, we love you. Just know that we love you guys very, very much. And thanks for thinking of us. And, you know, I think of you a lot because I see your name on the scroll at the television station. I used to see the Brenda Carey show every night at midnight. It was so funny. I'm like, I wonder if she knows her show is still being advertised here in West Hollywood. Did you know that?
I heard something about that. We only made... What did we make? 4 episodes of the Brenda Carey show, and it's amazing.
Repeating them.
But they were fantastic. Brian and you created such a great special effects in them and stuff. I remember the Halloween one.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I just
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you and
thank you. I love you guys.
Can you just call us?
Fantastic looking at you. You look fantastic.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. So do you guys. I thank you so much for being a part of the show. You guys mean so much to me. You're always in my heart. You're always in my thoughts.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Love you. Mwah.
Love you again.
Please subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date on our videos. If you are not already subscribed to our magazine, you'll find the link to do so in this video's description.